So I just hope the recording's saved. I hope it's not like the old Moran stack when the power got kicked out. But before we were so rudely interrupted, I love the timing, and that is my life. But yes, we were talking about the passion. I'd like to talk about how that passion, it sounded like an emotional expression, or the emotional connection you feel when doing that. So let's relate that to surfing, because I can connect the dots. But go ahead.
Yeah, well,
15 guitars, 16 surfing.
Surfing was, at that time, escape to get out of the inland valley of El Cajon and away from the heat.
To the beach?
To the beach. And
where he still resides today.
Born out of necessity, the first surfboard was...
What was your first surfboard?
First surfboard was a 6'4" Town and Country. I got off of one of my friends that had gotten somewhere. And
Dude, fuck you, my first surfboard was a Town and Country.
I believe it was actually a Johnny Boy Gomes surfboard at one point.
The big yin yang logo on the fucking top. Fuck yeah.
And that didn't last all that long before I realized I needed something bigger.
A longboard to learn how to actually surf.
8.6 Shannon from a friend that had bought that and didn't end up surfing. So rode that for a while and then split it in half, tried to put it back together, and that's when I started shaping. That's when I shaped my first surfboard.
And to date, I still own a Boone Town. I thankfully got a Boone Town board, and we're gonna have an inaugural surf of it. Which soon. You know, maybe there's a reason it sat in the corner of my room. In my room, in a very protected spot, waiting for the right moment.
Aging like a fine wine.
When I got it, it was like, this is the board I've been dreaming of. Like literally, being too fat and uninspired to just take it out in the cold water and embrace fucking life. And if anything, surfboards, guitars. So that started at 15, 16. You're how old now?
43.
How many years have you done this consistently? From 15, 16 to 42. Did you take breaks for years?
Oh yeah. It's times where I didn't even play my guitar for a couple of years.
But how many years, if you were to average it out, would you say you've done either surf or guitar? Or was it one or the other always at one time? Because I always known you to surf. And I've known you for it take years where you're going easy but play more guitar.
Yeah, it wanes back and forth, but it's also times where I'm interested in actually just surfing, and times where I'm interested in actually just playing guitar, and then there's times where I'm interested in building the guitar, crafting the surfboard, the creation, and it's cyclical. It comes up and down different times. I mean,
because I'm tapping into that. Like I get fucking amped up in spring, March, April. I've seen it now if I'm to track patterns, like at a time when I get like super inspired.
Yeah.
And I think I groove into the summer. I mean, and start enjoying that joy. But then I think the realities of fall, like going back to school, all set in, disrupt, what the fuck groove.
Change the cycles.
And now you say, because what I'm getting at is I think, if you look at 43 years and you look at, say, 30 years, and if you were to look at that as an average of like, the whole Malcolm Gladwell, 10,000 hours of, to be a professional, I'd say in 30 years, even with a scattered past, as much as I've known you, you've been making a guitar, like shaping the surfboard consistently over that period of time, no matter how much in frequency. But if you were to do that, say, he usually says 10 years to get 10,000 hours.
We extrapolated.
And you got 30, so I would say you probably got 10,000 hours of actually your hands on a guitar or shaping a surfboard.
Yeah.
Which by definition makes you a professional. So this is the introduction. The mom's on beaches with their daughter riding the bike. Go Rocco, go get him. Looks like Joe whatever in that boxing game. Where he's riding the bike. Dee. If I could cut that audio, that'd be funny. But I would like to acknowledge that I believe, by definition, of Malcolm Gladwell, sociologists who examine this craft. I think there's fucking shit on this, but anyway, on the ground, I don't know. My feet are starting to itch. You're a professional. I think this is the coming out to realize in that craft, you are a professional. And with that, let's take your profession to where it needs to be, to the people, like to the marketplace, because you do want to create, you do want to have access. And I think like logo-wise, what you've done, like you've always had that funky t-shirt, a style that's worth emulating because it's soulfully connected. So this is, I think, the start where we start to tell the story of Boone, solar panels, and life.